There's people watching. There's people watching. Holy shit. Pressure's on. We've got sound. The audio man's telling me we've got sound. Well, welcome everybody, all four of you, to the very first Sunday sesh, maybe the last Sunday sesh. Who knows? We'll see how badly this goes. Sunday afternoon, it is 40 degrees. Yes, I'm a Manly supporter, so get over it. The chat is live, so anyone who wants to jump in the chat, give me some curry or has anything they want to discuss or throw out there, please feel free. And let's get this show on the road. So firstly, why the Sunday sesh? Okay, 92 days ago now, I gave up drinking. I'm not here to preach. This is not going to be a sermon, but what I realised very quickly is that the bastion of sports has been owned by the drinkers for far too long, and there's very few places people like me can go and talk shit about the footy, talk shit about life in general that doesn't involve alcohol. So kind of had an idea that what am I going to do with my Sunday afternoons? Because right now, normally I'd be at Carry On Tavern sinking about 1,000 schooners and giving everyone all the hell in the world. We're going to do it here. We will talk sports, obviously. We will talk banter. We will touch on sobriety and what it means. It's not going to be a Bulldogs on top. You're kidding. Go Manly. That chat's going to get very distracting. But hopefully it can create a space for people who don't want to drink and don't have to drink or would just like a break from the drink to come and talk garbage, because as much as we want to pretend as a society that mental health and is now the norm and we're free to talk about it, it's a load of bullshit. It is still very taboo, especially people my generation and older. I'm 43 years old, and some of the looks I get when I tell people I've stopped drinking, or some of the looks I get when I tell people I've been struggling, there is definitely still a culture out there of not good enough. So let's see if we can create a space for people where they can come here, be themselves, talk about whatever they want to talk about. Keep it respectful, guys, to a point, all right? I don't want it to go too heavy, but feel free to give everyone shit. There's already a Bulldog supporter here, so I don't know how the block button on this thing works. But that's basically the story, and we're going to get into it. So I've just been watching the fights. I don't know if anyone's been watching the UFC. I haven't had them on. Normally I'll pay for them, but I had a big golf this morning, which we'll talk about in a second. So I'm just keeping an eye on results. And at the moment, Sean O'Malley won, Sugar Shane. We love that. And Paddy and Justin Gaethje are getting ready to fight. So let's clear up what this podcast is and what it isn't. It is NRL friendly. It is golf friendly, obviously. It is UFC friendly. It isn't in any way, shape or form rugby union friendly. So if you're a rugby union supporter, this may not be the place for you. I will not talk about it, and anyone who talks about it will be shouted down from the rooftops. It's one of the worst sports on the planet. Look, I'd like to say I'm soccer friendly, but we're going to call it soccer on this podcast. It won't be football, because footy is rugby league, the greatest game of all. There is only one footy, and we are NFL friendly. Dallas Cowboys is my team. We're getting into the championship games of the NFL. The Super Bowl is going to be in a week or two. The NFC and AFC championship games are tomorrow. Dallas hasn't won anything for, 20 years. So I'm a huge bandwagon guy. You'll learn that about me. I'll tell you how I got in, became a Manly supporter in a little while. But Dallas haven't won anything for 20 years, and I can't jump off them now, so that's a problem. AFL, and if Jackson Parker's listening yet, AFL definitely not going to be there for that. And Ripper friendly. I don't have any updates on Paddy's fight. I'm watching the results. Yeah, no update. If anyone's watching the fights and can put something in the group, in the chat about what's going on there, that'd be handy. Spent $70 last week on a no limit boxing event, and that kind of ruined pay-per-view for me for the next week because it was an absolute joke. But I did only jump on there to see Big Nelson Solomona get his head punched in. That didn't happen. So I don't know when I'll pay for another pay-per-view, probably when Volk's fighting. He's got one coming up soon. I think he's fighting in Sydney. The tickets are gone to $84 million. And I don't have that kind of cash. So we're on the, just so we're aware, we're on the Asahi Zeros today. I haven't done a beer review on them. The guys who have been watching the channel see me do a few zero alcohol beer reviews, but I haven't done one for the Asahis, but they go bloody good. So, and it's 40 degrees. It is absolutely 40 degrees. So, oh, my goodness, goes all right. So, where do we want to begin? Oh, Random Gorilla's on here. That guy's pumping hard on the socials. He's got a golf brand, guys. Anyone who is after some golf gear, something a little bit different, jump on Random Gorilla and have a quick look. Said he was going to send me a hat, but I haven't got it yet. Still no updates on the fights. This chat thing's good. I like it. So today's a pilot, guys. We're just seeing how it goes. I'm trying to work out the technology. I have done podcasts before. I've had one running for 5 years, actually, or more. It was called Wine and Wisdom, and as the name would suggest, it involved alcohol and quite a bit of it. We probably have drank over 500 bottles of wine on that podcast, and now that I'm not drinking, I had to give it a miss, obviously. So I do enjoy it. It is a creative space. It does give me something to do. It does keep me busy, and we're going to keep rolling with it for as long as we can. If I look like I'm distracted, my Sunday Sesh Junior is walking around in the background doing laps, and he's doing circle work. He's waiting for, we had someone who's he's my political correspondent. So if anyone has any politics to talk, Sunday Sesh Junior is going to jump in here because I couldn't give a rat's ass, but he's all about it. Yeah, he's got me a launch pack, Random Gorilla. Thank you very much, mate. I'll send you my address. I'll send you the address. All right, so footy season's about a month away. The rugby league, the NRL, I don't get too heavily invested. I do love it, but I don't get too heavily invested until it's just before go time. So I did have someone request that we go through my predicted top 8 for the year. I'm not going to do that today because I haven't studied the form enough. I usually wait till the first week of trials. First week of trials, tell you where they've been at all pre-season. Last week of trials, I usually run the full team, and then round 1 is a really good gauge of what people have been doing for the whole off-season and where they look for the year. What I can tell you, though, is who's going to go no good this year. I've got 2 picks for the spoon. It's either going to be the Knights or the Dragons. Sorry, Dragon supporters, but I can't cop you. The Knights have recruited nobody. They've changed coaches, which was 6 years too late. I can't believe they kept Adam O'Brien for as long as they did. He'd have a rubbish first 10 games of the year, should have been sacked, and then somehow Kalen Ponga would save him. They've done themselves a huge lot of damage by not getting rid of him sooner. That's for sure. The Dragons just can't copy us. Woeful football team, horrible coach, and you got Gutho. Anyone who's seen my posts knows that me and Gutho have got a feud going. Gutho doesn't know about it, but we've got a huge feud going with Gutho. He's removed all my hate from Parramatta and put them all the way over onto the Dragons. So they're my 2 picks for Wooden Spoon. Am I allowed to have 2? I don't know. Is that fair? Not sure. Who's your pick for the spoon, guys? Anyone out there? Anyone out there in the chat? I'll tell you who won't make the 8. I'll make another bowl called South. South to be rubbish again. That's another huge call. Oh, Sunday Sesh Junior sticking his finger up at me. Mad South supporter. Do you reckon I can get one of my kids to go for the same footy team as me? Or do you reckon I could get one of my kids to actually do any sport that I'm interested in? No, not a chance. I've got 2 YouTubers and a netballer. The netballer is my only hope. And Manly's not going to get the wooden spoon. You're on drugs. Sorry, sober podcast. You're kidding yourself. It is one-way beef. It is one-way beef, Random Gorilla. I've actually got a list. Do you want to hear my list of feuds? I have my top 5 feuds that the other side have no idea about. What's a good feud? It's a good feud if both sides know about it, but these poor people have got no idea. Number 5 on my list. Number 5. He's down there. Rory McIlroy, can't cop that bloke. Great golfer, but he's a sook. He complains too much, and he expects the world to bow down to him. Cannot cop Rory McIlroy at all. We're feuding. Me and Rory, huge feud. Huge feud. Who else have I got feuds with? The Dragons, obviously the Dragons. Can't cop their coach. Shane Flanagan is how he got another job in the NRL beggars belief. It's a really bad show, I reckon. He got done for drug cheating. He got done for salary cap cheating. Then he got done for breaking the bans that he got for doing both of those things. And how he was allowed back in the NRL, I've got no idea. The bloke gets on camera. He's very abrasive. He's very arrogant. He won't take any accountability for anything that goes wrong with his teams. And I think it leads to a poor culture, and hence the Dragons getting the wooden spoon. Gutho, he's another one. We're feuding hard. As I said, me and Gutho. I don't want him to run at me, though. He will smash me. But same thing. He was all the problem with Parramatta. It's not a coincidence that Parramatta got rid of him as soon as they could. The guy is an absolute sook. Yes, he's fit. Yes, he's a good player. I'm not taking that away from him. But the amount of complaining he did on the field, off the field, nothing was ever his fault, the team's fault, the coach's fault. For those 10 years that Brad Arthur was in charge of Parramatta, you know, the fish rots from the head, and I think he was a huge part of the problem at Parra, and it's no coincidence that the minute he's gone, the culture's improved out of sight. He's taken the same bullshit to the Dragons. Cannot cop Gutho. That's one thing I've got the whole family on board with is we're not a Gutho-loving family. So not a Gutho-friendly podcast. Can I just say that from the outset? Not a Gutho-friendly podcast. Got beef with the Melbourne Storm. I'm feuding hard with the Melbourne Storm. I got the greatest coach of all time, which is where I'm actually torn because I just said the fish rots from the head. They are a grubby organisation, the Storm. Multiple salary cap breaches we all know about. They've bred some of the greatest grubs in rugby league history. Billy the Grub, Billy Slater, one of the biggest grubs to ever lace on a boot. Now he's a Queensland coach. Grubby on the field, right? Might be a great bloke off the field. I'm here to banter about sports, not attack people personally, but grub, Billy. Grub, absolute grub. And his captain, Cameron Smith, absolute grub. Got away with murder. Manly bashed the shit out of him in the Battle of Brookvale, but absolute grub. Nelson Solomona, the biggest man in rugby league, will only pick on the littlest people in rugby league. He got suspended, but he never got suspended for bashing anyone big. He was only ever picking on small blokes. Absolute grub. So I'm feuding with all those guys. So that makes the Melbourne Storm pretty high on my list. Who else did I have in the book of feuds that the other side doesn't know about? Lando Norris. Anyone into Formula One? Lando Norris, he's on my shit list. We're feuding hard. Same as Gutho. There's a theme to all these people I'm feuding with, except the Storm. They're just grubs. But Lando Norris, much the same as Rory McIlroy, much the same as Gutho. Sook. Absolute sook. No responsibility. The way he carried on this year when Oscar was winning was an absolute disgrace. He already looks very feminine. He is. Don't like Lando. We're feuding. Go on Oscar Piastri for next year. And last but not least, and probably my biggest feud of all, and this one the other side does know, anyone who was born in New South Wales who goes for Queensland in the state of origin, we're feuding. We're feuding about as hard as it can. Barely human, you lot. Barely human. Talk about bandwagons. How could you be born in New South Wales, call yourself a rugby league supporter, and because they won for 11 years straight, now you're going for Queensland? They're the biggest feud I've got going. They're actually the biggest grubs in rugby league history. People born in New South Wales going for Queensland. Who's on your feud list? Who are you feuding with, random gorilla? I reckon you're feuding with, I've seen you play golf, mate. I reckon you're feuding with your swing on occasion. No offence, mate. Any lessons there? Tommy Ballard at Gosford. I see that you play at Gosford a lot. Are you gone to Tommy, got him to help you out? He's not in the chat. New South Wales still death. Random gorilla. What's going on, big Sunday Sesh? Apparently, we've got a live stream delay, so I'm not going to get answers to my questions straight away. Did you play golf today, Random? I played Wong for the first time. I post a lot about golf on the socials, guys. I'm not trying to be a golf influencer by any stretch of the imagination, but I do love the game, and it's absolutely taken off lately. And I think it's a good thing. To an extent, it's a good thing. I think YouTube is a big reason so many people are into golf at the moment. I used to play a lot before changing careers. I was playing golf 3 or 4 rounds a week, and then I had to give it a miss for 10 years, essentially. I was gone from playing 3 or 4 rounds a week to playing 3 or 4 times in 10 years, 6 or 7 times in 10 years, as the kids would tell me. But I made a commitment over the last 12 months to get back into it, got a new set of clubs. And, absolutely love the sport. Where I think they might have gone too far is I played with a kid today who was off 46. 46! When I finished playing golf, the highest handicap you could have was 36, and now it's 54. He was a great kid. I played with him and his old man, but he's off 46. He had the worst game of golf I've seen in a long, long time. He still had 41 points. 41 points! I played off 19 today, which still isn't great, and I had 36 points, which could have easily been 40 or more because I left a lot of shots out there. But I think they're gone too far with the handicapping. They're making it a little bit too easy. What they are doing is making it absolutely impossible for anyone decent at golf to win anything. Steve Gibbs is listening. I saw that he just got down to 4.9. Well done, Gibbsy. My first goal is to get down to 15 and then down into single figures from there if we can. But seem to be hovering around 18, 19 at the moment. I just can't put 3 good holes together. It's an absolute punish. But the thing about golf, and I had to think about this, is why I loved it so much, and I never realised. So I got a pretty overactive brain, and I run a business, and I've got a wife, Mrs. Sunday Sesh. I think she's listening. We're going to call her Mrs. Sunday Sesh for now. And I've got 3 kids. There's a lot going on, and when your brain fires up as much as mine does, very hard to switch off. And what I noticed is I could go and play golf, and I could play the worst round you've ever had. I could snap a club, I could throw a ball, throw a club, lose a bunch of balls, and 4 hours later I'd walk off feeling refreshed and actually ready to go again. And what I figured out is if you're on the golf course trying to play golf, if you think about anything other than that stupid fucking white ball or yellow ball, I've got to use yellow balls now because my eyes are rooted, you can't play the game. So there's no time to think of Mrs. Sunday Sesh. There's no time to think about your business. There's no time to think about your kids. There's no time to think about all the pressures in life. And regardless of how bad you're playing, it actually gives you a break, a huge break. It's meditation. It's meditation. And I actually think more blokes should get into it. I don't know if there is ever such thing as too late to start. It would be a hard game to pick up later on in life. I learned to play golf when I was 10 years old. So, I don't know how you go picking it up later on in life. But from a mental health perspective, and for men especially, I think golf's the way to go. I think it's very underrated. And it's normally the men, someone's talking about NBA. Yeah, I've got a bit of NBA in me. But I'm a bandwagon guy there too. Actually, I tend to follow the Aussies around with most sports. So Josh Giddey's at the Bulls. It'd be good to see the Bulls going good again, wouldn't it? Just for old time's sake with MJ. When Bogut was on Golden State, that was fun. But I can't really sit there and watch a whole game of the NBA. I don't know why they just don't play the last 2 minutes, because it doesn't matter whether you're up by 50 or you're up by 10. The last 2 minutes, you always end up tied. So they might as well just play a 2-minute game. It'll always be the same. Who do you follow in the NBA? I just can't get into it myself. I got a Denver Nuggets jersey, but only because my daughter's nickname's Nugget. I bought her one, so we walk around being Nuggets. But anyway, the mental break of golf, I what I was talking about. Like even today, I had an early kickoff. I wasn't feeling the best when I got up. Lots of things running through my head. I couldn't remember what one of them was by midday. Now, granted, fucking 40 degrees, 40 fucking degrees. And one mistake I have made with this setup, I've got a great setup here, but there's no fan. There's no air conditioning in my camp cave. And I'm sweating bullets. I only put the Manly jersey on for comedic relief, the things I do for you people. But absolute garbage. So, yeah, more people should get into golf. If you're a golfer and you're watching, what's your handicap? Where do you play? Random Gorilla started at 39. 39's all right. Like it's close to 36. But fuck, I played with a lady. I played with a lady at Nelson's Bay over the break. She was off 48. And she was hitting them, she was piping them straight down the middle, only 100, 150 metres. But when you're piping them straight down the middle, 150 metres, it only takes you 2 or 3 shots, you're on the green. And then even if you're 3-putting, you're having a 6. And for some of them holes, if you're getting 3 shots on every single hole, 6 of 7, the people are walking off with 50 points. It's just not competitive anymore. Who's, feuding. Righto, thanks for bringing him up. I've got someone else from a feud list. LeBron James. He's kidding himself, isn't he? And for the same reasons all the others. Couldn't do it quietly. Couldn't be the greatest of all time quietly. Anytime anything goes against that guy, he cries like, I don't know, he cries like a little kid. So King LeBron left the sport. He's a golfer now too, so that'll be good. He's all about the YouTube golf. King LeBron, can't wait. Not. He's a snore. He's a snore. I played with an old guy at Shelley Beach once who was off, what's the limit? The limit's 54. He was off 54. And that's the one time I've seen someone on that kind of handicap actually need it. He played off 54 and he still only had 20 points. That's tough going. How amazing is LeBron? You're kidding, aren't you? How can you be a LeBron fan when MJ's the man? Steph Curry, give me him any day. How amazing is he? Again, I don't know if Event X006 is drinking or not. Stop it. Put the beers down. Put the beers down. Anyone out there not having a beer, trying to stay off the grog? Apparently my voice is getting cut out when I speak lower. I told the machine I had a deep, low voice. What's happening in the fights? Still no result. The card kicked off at 1 o'clock. We should have put it on. I don't know how YouTube works, whether I can put the fights on in the background. That'd be handy. When footy season starts, we'll have the footy going, that's for sure. We'll be able to talk about the games. Random Barilla gave up beer 2 years ago. Is that all grog random or just the beers? And Event X has been sober, Sally, for nearly 15 years now. Well done. How good is that? 15 years. What age, guys, did you work out you'd had enough? I've been drinking since I was 14 years old, and everything that I did in life had alcohol in it. You should see, I'll take you on a tour of this cave one day. I've got a bar over there. There's 8 bottles of whiskey and a bottle of rum on it. I've got a 9-foot diamond python over there. Her name's Chardonnay. Do you reckon I had a drinking problem? I named a snake Chardonnay. Oh, random, yeah, glass of wine on the weekend, mate. Well done. If you can have one and stop, mate, I envy you because I can't. At the time I stopped, I was as piss fit as I've ever been in my life. I was an absolute athlete. Couldn't get me drunk. Yeah, 40. I'm 43 random. And it was just everywhere. So when, I was doing a lot, was doing a lot to try and fix the mental state I was in at the time. I was doing absolutely everything else except I was still drinking. So any work that you did, any work that you did to work through some of the crap you're going through was gone by Monday morning because I'd had 9,000 drinks over the weekend. And I just woke up one day and went, no, I'm done. And it scared the shit out of me. Absolutely scared the shit out of me to do it, which is why I came up with all the excuses under the sun to keep drinking. You know, I needed it to go to sleep, or I needed it to stay asleep, or I needed it because I was stressed, or I needed it to have a good time, or I needed it to be social. Um, and they're real fears, and everyone's got them. But I think when you decide enough's enough, it's actually been reasonably easy. All the situations where I thought it would be tough, like going to the pub, I can go to the pub, no worries, and not have a beer. It doesn't even interest me. Going to social occasions, I've been to many a party. I haven't done it. I haven't gone and hid in the shadows, which you probably should for the first month or two while you're doing it. I went, no, I'm going to do it, and it's not going to change anything. So I kept going to the pub. Uh, I kept going out in public places surrounded by alcohol. And so I absolutely tortured myself for the first month or so. But it's, I don't know about you guys, but it's the time, it's the sneaky ones. Like last week when we got the smoker out for the first time in a long time. It's the sneaky ones that get you because they're the times where, they're the times that piss you off that you can't have a beer anymore. Or that's still where I'm at now. Like I said, I'm only early in it. Why can't I have a beer while I'm smoking the meat? And no pun intended there. Get your mind out of the gutter, guys. But yeah, that shocked the hell out of me that day. I thought, oh, that's the first time where I've really found it hard. So it's quite personal moments where having a beer, no one would have known, it wouldn't have affected anything. Um, they're the tough ones. But it's been an interesting ride. I'm not going to say it's a magic pill. Day 92 today, I was pissed off for the first 2 months of it. I think I was grieving, and it didn't automatically fix my sleep. The first thing that happened actually was my nervous system went off absolute head. Your body has to deal with stuff that it's never hasn't dealt with in a long time. We used to use alcohol to suppress. So I actually had feelings. That was hard. Feelings are hard. You can't drink them away. Feelings, nothing more than feelings. Um, so yeah, onwards and upwards. And you know what's a surprise? So many people are doing it. I said before that it's still taboo. I think it is still taboo, but so many people are doing it, but they're doing it quietly, which you don't have to make a big song and dance about it. One of the things I wasn't sure about is, do I need to be telling people, do I need to be doing this actually? Because I'm not trying to glorify the fact that I've stopped drinking. You guys doing it for 15 years and 2 years and that sort of stuff. Like that's something to hang your hat on. Me having a couple of months off, that's nothing. So I'm not trying to steal anyone else's valor, but one thing I did know is I'm going to be bored shitless if I didn't have a beer in my hand. So that's why we're on here doing this. 15 years. I hope so. I'll be very old by then. Hopefully I'll be better at golf. Can someone get me an update on the fights? I don't reckon Jackson Parker's on here because he was all talk. Fights haven't updated. All right, next. Zach Lomax. What is Zach Lomax doing with his life? Really funny. It's an interesting thing. It was him and Michael's the rapper. I said we are going to talk about. But you got to be a bit careful. I know I did a post calling Lomax a grub and all that, and what he's done and the behaviours that he's exhibiting are very grubby behaviours. But who's advising him? Who's telling him that it's all right to do this stuff? That's the hard bit. And you don't want to jump on Zarafa pulling out of that fight last week and the absolute the shit that he copped. And I did my dough. I did $70. Um, but they are young men. I think Zarafa's 33, and I don't reckon old blockhead Lomax he'd be over 30 yet. And I think the adults that are advising him particularly need to have a good hard look at themselves, because they are setting that bloke up for a life of absolute torture. Like, he'll be the most hated man in rugby league. He is going to the most hated club in rugby league if Para let him go, but he will be the most hated man in rugby league, and that's not a good place to be. That's not a good place to be. Michael Zarafa, people absolutely tore him a new one, and so they should. What he did was disgusting in the boxing, but then it got real personal. We've got to worry about these guys' mental state after a while. We've got to picture ourselves, I guess, is what would you do if it was your kid? You probably wouldn't let your kid do that stuff, but if it was your kid copping all that grief, how would you be? How would your family be? And I think Melbourne have got a lot to answer for with Zach Lomax, because if he had nowhere else to go, he had nowhere else to go. Melbourne are the only one that have given him somewhere to go. And they've exacerbated the problem, I think. Getting a fight update here. Who's watching? What are you watching? Okay. Apparently they're still going, and they both look pretty tired. I'd look pretty tired too. I don't mind. It's actually a fight of the good guys. So, Paddy, I got nothing against Justin Gaethje. Paddy's a cult hero. I like him, but I think Gaethje retires if he loses. Did you ever? Mm. Whoever Sunday Sesh Junior's reading is saying that Paddy's losing on points. I'm surprised it's gotten it to round 4. I thought Gaethje either gets knocked out straight away or he beats the shit out of people. So very, very interesting. Anyone watching into the fights? We're not worried about cuts. James has said in the chat that the NRL will step in for sure with Lomax. I don't think they should. It's a bad, bad precedent. Now, if you're talking about stepping in to let him go to Melbourne, I think it's horrible. Horrible for the league, horrible for... It'll ruin everything if they do that. And I know they're trying, but Para's got to stand tough, and the NRL should fuck off, leave them alone. Is that what you meant, James? Tell you where I wouldn't want to be at the moment, Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea. They've just lost Ray Dibb. I don't think that club's going to get off the ground. They've thrown 600 million at it. I don't think it's going to get off the ground, and the NRL's stepping in there, and that's the reason it's all gone to shit from all reports. Does a very, very good job, Peter V'landys. He's taken the game to a whole other level, but there's starting to be more and more overreach or perceived overreach. Gaethje won. There you go. Thanks, James. Gaethje won. Paddy the Baddie. You reckon that's an upset? I'd almost call that an upset. Gaethje's been around for a long time. Yeah, James is telling us in the chat. Gaethje's been around for a long time. I would have thought Paddy should have got the job done there. That won't set him back much. Was it a good fight, James? So we've got the Bears coming in next year, the Mighty Bears. So I started off as a Bears supporter. I was rusted on. I've got my Bears stubby cooler here. Obviously, they kicked him out of the comp. I didn't just jump straight to Manly. Oh, we had the Northern Eagles first. That was an interesting 12 months. And then I floated around a bit. I'm a vibe guy. I've got to get a feel. I'm a vibe guy. A bunch of the guys that were playing for the Tigers at the time, I played a lot of footy with. So I thought, oh, I'll go for the Tigers. They were always mum's team, my second team, but didn't quite feel right. And then I went for Penrith for 1 year. Happened to be the year they won it. Ryan Girdler, favourite player, but I am a bandwagon guy. Then I moved to North Queensland for a couple of years. I lived in Airlie Beach for a couple of years. I thought, oh, I'll go for the Cowboys. That didn't quite feel right. And then moved back down to the coast, and I think I was back on the Tigers. I was back on the Tigers, actually, and it was around 2010, and Manly had the Stewart boys and Jamie Lyon and Ben Kennedy and fucking red hot team, and they were just beating the crap out of people. I'm a sucker for a real strong culture and a real strong defensive team. And then out of nowhere, I think we were at Central Coast Stadium. It was Tigers versus Manly. We were all there to go for the Tigers. And then Daly Cherry Evans made a break, and I stood up and started cheering. I went, fuck, I'm a Manly supporter. And it's been that way ever since. But will I be going back to the Bears? Yeah, well, I did a post a couple of weeks ago about them. They're starting to tug on the heartstrings. I've actually got a shrine set up here to the Bears. I've got the photo up there of their last ever first grade team. I've got a bunch of empty North Sydney Bears beer cans and a deflated footy with all their signatures on it. I've got a shrine set up here for the Bears. I just don't know. The cynics out there, and you're all cynics, will say I'm only waiting to see if I get a good team or not. But maybe I am. I don't know. The Perth thing's got me. I'm not 100% sure is the answer to your question. I think I will. I got problems with Manly too. Their coach, I'm feuding with Anthony Seibold. I can't believe he got a job either. And the list of feuds has gone from 5 to 50. What he did in Brisbane, and then to go on a current affair and say people were picking on him, I can't believe he got another job in rugby league. That's not the guy you want leading your club. He's another one who can't accept responsibility for his own actions. And Manly have exhibited that since he took over. Made some horrible signings. Gets in every press conference. It's never his fault, or that they've lost. It's always a ref or somebody else's. You can't have that. And listen, I've got to hate Cherry now because he's gone to the Roosters, but Cherry's going. That's Seibold's fault. Reuben Garrick, Daddy Garrick, my favourite Supercoach player of all time. He's going. What am I going to do? Shit, it's getting close to Supercoach time. I don't think the Central Coast can support an NRL team random. And the Mariners, well, we're not going to have the Mariners for much longer. Trying to get Marty from the Marty Mariner show to come on here and explain to us what the actual fuck is going on with the Mariners, because as I said, not a soccer podcast, but we are a national sports podcast, so we better get an update on what's going on. But the A-League, I don't know, is the A-League still really a thing? It doesn't seem to have much hype around it anymore. The Mariners have got to be, on the balance sheet, one of the most successful clubs it's ever had. I remember a decade ago they went 2 or 3 grand finals in a row. It was the Brisbane Roar they kept losing to. And then we eventually got one, and then we've won a couple since. I don't know of any other club. Maybe I don't follow it closely enough, but is anyone apart from the Mariners, Sydney FC maybe? I keep hearing Sydney FC, Melbourne Victory, but then the Mariners are right up there, and they've always done it with $4.50 to their name. I don't know how they keep doing it, but that's culture. Now they're gone. So Central Coast won't get a footy team. They'll keep trying to expand into other regions random. I think it'd be well backed. Everyone would support it. There's no doubt. It's funny, the Central Coast, I don't know if people are aware of this, but 80% of South members, I believe, are from the Central Coast. Huge following for South up here. That just shows how high the IQ is around here. Hey, buddy. And then the Wars. The Wars have got a huge following up here too. How can you not love the Wires? Wires have got to be everyone's second team at the moment, don't they? Yeah. Oh, Divot Dad's in. You're a Broncos supporter, aren't you, Divot? Anyone who hasn't checked out Divot's Instagram page, get on there. He's doing some great things in golf. None of the golf is great, but he's doing some great things to push it. Good to have you in the chat, mate. No sporting. Oh, he said on the Gold Coast who succeeded. How are the Titans going to go this year, Divot? I like what Josh Hanno's doing. See, he's a culture guy. I'm a sucker for culture. Josh Hanno's a good appointment. He's cleaned house. He got rid of Fafita, Dave Fafita, who's gone to South. One of the reasons I don't think South make the eight. You're doing good, Divot. You're going good, mate. I think you got to play more comps, though, mate. Get that handicap out because that's where you learn about golf is when you're scoring points. The thing I wonder about all those YouTube golfers, right? Because I know you can't walk around with a bloody camera playing comps. So all the golf they're playing, it's social golf, isn't it? Social golf. They'll take as many shots as they want before they put one on camera. Can't tell you any of the golf stuff you see from me, guys, is raw and unfiltered. You'll get every bad shot. Makes for better viewing, I think, anyway. So, yeah, so they're better with Scotty Sattler as head of football, Divot, but you reckon, I mean, I know you're a Broncos man, so you're not going to give them a fair shake anyway. They got some people behind them now. Matty Johns has bought in. Big Gordy's bought in. Looks like they're trying to do something, isn't it? I think I mean, they had a good run when they first come out, but I think they've had to pay overs for too many people. And they went for a while there where they're only giving coaches a real short leash before they're getting rid of them. Neil Henry, I was very surprised when they sacked Neil Henry all those years ago. He was a good coach. And I think for a long time the ownership there didn't take any responsibility. Same thing will happen. If the ownership's not taking responsibility, then the footy team can't take responsibility, or why would they? The Broncos going back to back, Divot, or what? Raw is the best. Remember Robson Green's extreme fishing. I do remember Robson Green's extreme fishing. Any wrestling fans out there? My daughter, God love her, she's a son I'd never had. She's absolutely obsessed with the WWE at the moment. And I was a WWE nut back in the day. The Undertaker's my guy. Old school Undertaker, though, the actual Undertaker, not the bikey Undertaker or the American Hero Undertaker or any of the other Undertaker. The Undertaker that used to fight Yokozuna, the casket matches with Yokozuna at WrestleMania. Ah, they're the greats. I rewatched them not long ago to show the daughter. I don't know who any of the new blokes are. John Cena's just retired. Old school Undertaker. He was the absolute best. Degeneration X. If you are into the wrestling, there's a really good doco at the moment on Netflix. It's called Unreal, I think it is, and they don't shy away from the fact that wrestling's fake. It gives you a really good behind the scenes look. So even if you're a casual fan or someone who can't rate it because it's fake, watch that doco. They give it a real balanced view and lots of interesting viewing there. Is that absolutely, mate, to the Broncos going back to back? What do we think of Madge Maguire as a coach? I rate him. Culture guy, see? Culture guy, rate him. I've found it hard. Most of the time I rate Gordon Tallis as a commentator. I rate his opinion. He goes good. I actually like Paul Kent for the same reasons, although Kenty went a bit haywire there for a little while. But Gordy just way too biased towards Kevy Walters, I think, which is his best mate. But surely in the media, when it's your job to try and give, yes, an opinion, but some sort of balanced opinion, the crap that he gave Michael Maguire, they were making his job almost impossible for the first half of the year, Madge. Like, why would you want it? There's filthy Queenslanders, though, probably born in New South Wales. Oh, Brisbane Roar. You're talking about Brisbane Roar, random when you said Roar is best. I think the trial, we've got Vegas coming up in the NRL. Anyone been over? I was just thinking, something rubs me the wrong way where they're taking different teams. I would have thought if you wanted to create a following over there, you'd run the same teams, wouldn't you? Now, as a coach, I couldn't think of anything worse than having to go over there in the build up to your season and play a real game, but under joke circumstances. I couldn't think of a worse way to start the year, but don't fully. I guess they're trying to get more different people to go on planes because once you go once, I guess you're not going every year if your team goes every year. But wouldn't the point to be to build the game in the US with US supporters, not about because I'm pretty sure the majority of tickets that get sold are to Aussies and Poms. So all that's doing is increasing the tourism dollar in Las Vegas. It's not really growing the game as such. I don't know if they've put any figures out on whether participation rates in America have grown as a result or what the story is. But yeah, I'm not sure what the thinking is behind that. When do the Sixers play? One of my first videos I did was describing all the teams and sporting careers I've absolutely ruined by supporting them. And I apologise to the Sydney Sixers for the prick of a year they're about to have because um, I was wearing a Sixers jersey. Oh, they're playing tonight. That's the final. Big Bash final tonight. Come on, Sixers. We haven't killed them yet. Yeah, David Dad's just said it's probably more to break into the betting market on with Las Vegas, and you're right. You're probably right. I forgot about that. They should just send St George over there every year. St George in Melbourne, just fuck them off. Just get them out of my sight. Just don't want anything to do with them. Right. There'd be that much. I mean, they hate the Columbia marching powder, the Storm players. So Vegas, I heard it's going pretty cheap over there. I tell you what, I walked golf today. Yeah, I know. Got my big boy pants on. I've got a 6 a.m. tee off tomorrow. I won't be walking again. I nearly died. When I come back, started playing, I refused to walk because I'm like, if I'm only going to get to play this once in a while, I'm in a cart for sure. Got to be in a cart for sure. And then I started playing every week again. I'm like, oh shit, I can't be shelling out for a cart every week. So Father's Day, got myself a buggy again. Not one of these fandangle electric ones. Oh, I've actually got to push the fucking thing. And it doesn't matter how flat the course is. Like Wong's got a few hills, but even Gossie's got no hills. If I walk, I'm absolutely rooted. Last 3 holes, can't swing a club. Still meditation, still can't think of anything else, but now all I think about is how rooted I am at the end of rounds. Today, throwing, it wasn't 40 while I was playing, I had a 7:30 tee off time. It was 35 by the time we finished, and the humidity must be right up there. I was absolutely destroyed, buckled. You a walker, Divid, or do you get in the cart? Do any of you golfers actually sit there and watch the golf, or is it just a play thing? Get your fitness up. get my fitness up. I've lost 20 kilos random. 20 kilos and counting. When I started my newest career, that was 11 years ago, I was 94 kilos ringing wet and the fittest person you'd ever met in your life. I'm not even joking. You can ask Mrs. Sunday Sesh, and within 3 months of an office job, I'd blown out to about 100 and I think I got to 110, 115 kilos very, very quickly. I didn't do any fitness work at all, and that was me for the next 10 years. And I drank and ate the same as I did while I was fit. So the problem is when you're not training and you don't lower anything else, it just stacks on you. And I was as fat as fuck, as I say in my beer reviews. I was as fat as fuck very quickly, and I've stayed that way for the last decade. Part of the changes I've been trying to make of recent times was to get serious about not getting super fit again, not being a health freak, but I had to get the weight off. I was couldn't move, couldn't get out of bed. I'm 43 years old and everything hurt. Everything hurt. So 20 kilos down, still can't walk around the golf course. So 100's the magic figure. I've got about 8 to go. 7.5 kilos to go. 100's the magic figure. I think I'll can carry 100 well. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3", so 100 kilos about the right weight. The scale of the BMI will still say I'm obese, but that's the worst measure of someone's fitness in rugby league history. So still not very nice, Random. You'd be pretty fit, mate, the way you swing a golf club, because you'd be chasing balls all over the place. All over the place, brother. That's the other thing too about walking the golf course. When you don't hit them straight, like I hit a long ball. My driver, when it's going straight, is 250, 260 carry. That also means when it goes, that's meters. If anyone in America is watching, meters, the real measure of a guy's ability. That means when I slice it, because I've got a wicked slice, fuck, it goes a long way the wrong way. And I use Arcos. I've posted some of my Arcos shots before. I should put up some of the funny ones where I've literally walked a kilometre on a 300-metre hole, chasing balls left and right. It's an absolute curse. Absolute curse. Everyone goes, when you hit a good one, everyone goes, oh, sick, I'd love to be able to do that. Fucking none of them say that when it goes wrong. They all shut up real quick because they're all up on the green and I'm still 3 fairways over looking for me ball. I had to use yellow balls now too. Don't mind walking if the course isn't hilly. We've got some big hills around here. You're on the Goldie, aren't you? But yeah, the Sunshine Coast divot. Pretty flat up there. We're in the mountains here. We've got some courses that you just couldn't walk. That stuff gets the best views. No problem. I know you're joking, Random, but no problem. That's one thing I've found since embarking on this little journey. I've got to be careful because pretty soon you start chasing views. You start looking at every post, checking it every 4 seconds to see how many likes you're getting. I mentioned a couple of times I'm a 43-year-old man. We shouldn't be doing that stuff. It's a sad state of affairs too, and it ties into my point earlier about mental health still being taboo. Like I can do a post that'll help a lot of people about anything, giving up grog or dealing with stress or anything like that. And you can have a look on my timeline and see 700 views on one post. I did a post about, where is it? It's in my boot. I did a post about a bit of wood. I screwed a couple of doorstops on to hold my goal closer. At 10,000 views just on TikTok. There's a couple of thousand on Insta. There's a couple of thousand on YouTube. 10,000 views, but I do a post about men's mental health, 700. That shows where we're at as a society. That's why I know I'm talking about men a lot. I know women have struggled too. Women are much smarter than men, much, much smarter, and they tend to talk more. So talking is one of the best things to do when you are struggling, and women have got no trouble talking. Mrs. Sunday Sesh and my Mother Sunday Sesh, we'll call her, get them in a room together. My God, the dribble that goes on for hours on end. I don't reckon they know what they're talking about half the time, but God, they can talk. Us blokes sit in a corner and try and do it all by ourselves. But with the society's caused that. We cause that. The amount of sideways looks I've got just by telling I've stopped drinking. I don't tell people why I stopped drinking. I don't go into it, but they all, they'll sit there and look at you absolutely sideways and go, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" But no one asks you what the fuck's wrong with you. They just start making guesses. Mate of mine, good mate of mine, killed himself a few years ago. Had 3 kids. I had to sit there at his funeral and watch him lay Reese on his coffin, and I couldn't fucking understand why. And mate, he was a fun-loving dude, Mort. Absolute lunatic, Mort. But he had no one to fucking talk to because everything was grog related, everything was grog or drug related, everything was, every time we got together, beers were on, didn't matter what we were doing. And, I said to myself, I don't ever want to be in that situation, ever. We've got to be better we've got to be better mates. We've got to be better brothers. We've got to be better fathers. I think, one thing I don't mean to get too serious, but also we've got to talk about this shit. I think I'm really proud of watching the young generation grow up. They got no problem talking about it. None. I see 16, 17, 18-year-old lads, boys sitting around talking about how they're doing. That's a fucking great thing. And that's not something they've learned from us. I reckon anyone my age or older, they haven't learned that from us. So I guess there is some hope for the society moving forward, but I worry about blokes my age. I worry about blokes older. You don't realise how many guys in their 50s, 60s are struggling. And they can't talk. Where do they go? Well, golf, it's just made a bloody great point, which is some of the best chats he's had are with men on the course. Rishi won't be watching this, but I started 2 weeks after I quit drinking. I went down to Everglades, and I always play as a single unless now I've got a couple of boys that I play with on a regular, but most of the time I play as a single, and forces you to meet new people. That's one. It's good for my business. Two, but the universe works in a funny way. And 2 weeks in, I got partnered with a bloke, and I just happened to mention we were having a prick of a round, and it somehow came up that I'd stopped drinking. And turned out Rish hadn't had a beer for 2 years. He was off for 2 years, and then we got talking. Very similar stories, both rat bags on the drink. Got to a similar age. He's a couple of years older than me now, but got to a similar age and said enough was enough. And that was, and we're not blood brothers or anything yet, but we've played much more golf together. We have good chats, me and Rish. He's become a good friend. So you're 100% right, dude. It's a golf course is a great place for it. First, I had to get used to the golf course without beers, though. One thing it has done, make me a much better golfer. Much better golfer. When I was drinking, I was the best front nine golfer in Australia. I'd be coming in at even par, or I think one day I was even 2 under. Fuck, by the end of the 18th, and I've had 18 beers, I'd still be 20 over. Missing 2 footers. Much better golfer sober. And I used to think that everyone drank on the golf course. That's the thing. When you're in it, you think everyone's doing it. But I don't think I've seen a beer. I saw one guy having a beer on the golf course today. That was it. Turns out most people play golf sober. Who would have thought? What a stupid idea that is. But you're right, complete strangers, and they won't all be for you. The guys I played with today, I'm not sure they're my people. A bit too serious for me. I could have banter. I don't know about you guys, but on the golf course, if there's no banter, I play shocking. The minute someone gives me a hard time, I'm on. It's great. People are too nice. I play on the Sundays because I work Saturdays, so Sunday comps, and that's usually mixed, so men's and ladies. And Around here, a lot of golfers, most of the ladies playing golf are another generation above me. Can I say it that way? We won't call anybody old. So you've always got to bite your tongue for the first two or three holes because you've got to work out where you fit into the pecking order. But, mate, they all it only takes two or three holes for one of them to give it to you. They're some of the best chirpers going out there as the ladies playing golf that have been doing it for a while. Best chirpers out there. And they dink it down the fairway 100 metres on the green into and kick your ass every fucking time. Every time I take one of my sons to the golf course, force one of my sons to the golf course to sit in the cart with me so we can spend quality time together, I get my fucking ass handed to me by someone who's 85 and usually a woman. Unbelievable. Old man, woman strength. First time I took Sunday Sesh Junior, who's still sitting here, to a game of golf, with two 85-year-olds and I think an 80-year-old. One guy, two ladies. One of the ladies had survived three different cancers. She'd had breast cancer, she'd had throat cancer, and another form of cancer. She had to stop playing while she had all the treatments, the last round of treatments. So I don't think she'd swung a club for 18 months. She flogged the shit out of me, killed me. And I didn't know, how do you go picking on a cancer survivor? See, I'll get in your head. I don't have to play good golf. I'll just get in your head. I'll just talk to you, get in your head. You'll play rubbish. I don't have to play any good. I'll still win. Couldn't rattle her. Couldn't rattle her. Here I am. I'm telling my 18-year-old, you've got to be respectful, son. You know, these people are a bit older, so we won't have the banter today. About the third hole, by the time she said, stop using your driver and use your putter, you dickhead. Straight into me. 85-year-old cancer survivor. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I don't know if Random's still there, but who do you support in the footy, Random? They're jumping up pretty quick on the chats. Any of you guys super coaches? I've got to get my super coach going. Hey? No, that's all right. He sounds like a soccer guy, Random. Yeah, I've noticed, David. I've noticed that about. I've noticed that about you online too. You're very respectful. You're a bit nice, too nice to me sometimes. You got to stop that shit, mate. But yeah, no, you always listen. Banter doesn't mean you're a complete asshole the whole time. Banter means you give each other a bit of stick. There's a bit of back and forth. But always, if there's a good shot or good golf, you got to cheer that shit on too. I just mean that, yeah, I know that I had one bloke, Rishi, actually. Rishi stands over the ball for fucking an hour before he hits it. What are you doing, mate? And then he hits the ball 5 metres. So if you divided that hour by how many metres he hits the ball, he's not on a very good wicket. It's not a very good hourly rate. But he's also a great putter. He said we played a team Ambrose the other week, and if it wasn't for his putting, we were nowhere.com. Absolutely nowhere.com. So yes, respectful of the good shots, but I don't think you can be too quiet when there's a bad one either. You got to get into it. Got to get into it. Banter on the golf course should be a rule, actually. Should be a rule. Today's round was too quiet, except the father and son were about to punch on at one stage because Daddy Dearest couldn't help himself. The poor kid standing over a ball, and remember, I see he's having the worst round I've ever seen a golfer have. He's about to hit his drive, and right before he starts his backswing, Dad says, move your front foot. The kid turned around, nearly hit him with the club, and then sprayed it straight into the water on the right, and I thought they were going to punch on. Oh, he's Manly all the way, Random. Let's go. Till next year when I hate you because I'm a Bears supporter again. Whoever Manly's playing against. Yeah, well, that's what my kids do. That's what my kids do, mate. You know what will really piss Dad off? Become a South supporter. Yeah, good on you, mate. Good on you. You're sitting right here. What do you want to talk about, Random? Give me a topic. Divot, what do you got? Who's your top eight, Divot? I might do, you know what I might do? Next week I might do, you want a top eight next? No, I'll do bottom four next week and then I'll do a top four. I've got to see them. Live golf. Random wants me to talk about live. I like it. What's everyone's problem with live golf? That's why I hate Rory. That's why I can't. Hate's a strong word. Sorry. That's why I'm feuding with Rory. Who isn't walking away? Who isn't taking $100 million? $100 million to go and play less golf. I just lost a staff member. She'd been with me for 8 years. She was my right-hand wing woman. She got offered more money to do less work. Why the fuck wouldn't she take it? She took it. Can't hate her for that. I don't understand what the I still don't understand the golf politics. I still don't understand what live we're trying to achieve. And reading the shit, yeah, PGA failed to evolve. But reading how sanctimonious they were about Brooks kept coming back to PGA, you wouldn't want to go there. The sanctimony, that statement they put out and the sanctions they've given him to earn his right to be able to grace our fairways once again, who the fuck are you? And joke's on you. The bloke's made $47 trillion and now he's going to come back and clean up your tournaments again. That's the way they carry on. What about young Elvis jumping over there so young? I hope they, because he was starting to go right in the PGA. Is there a better name in golf than Elvis Smiley, by the way? $100 million they gave Cam Smith. The good Cam Smith, not the grub Cam Smith from Melbourne Storm, just to be clear. Not feuding with that Cam Smith. Love you, Cam Smith golfer. Hate you, Cam Smith footballer. No good. Have you been down to the Live Golf in Adelaide, Random? I want to go this year actually, but life's gotten too busy. Life's gotten too busy. No, I don't what. Listen, that's why I asked before to people, you guys actually watch golf. I put the golf on in the evenings, usually to piss my missus off, just for something to do. Sorry, darling. But it's a pretty boring watch, isn't it? Unless you were talking to Masters or a major. And they just make you feel bad about yourself. Although Rory hit one in the water the other day, that didn't make me feel bad. I was so fucking happy about that. Min Woo started 10 under the other day. How's he going in the American Express now? I really should have done more research before I did this today, shouldn't I? Went last year. Greatest golf event you've been to? Okay, you've been to a few. I've actually never been to live golf. Live. But no, I've never been to a live golf event. Something I want to do for sure. In a previous life, I was working with pro golfers on their biomechanics. It's one of the things. I've got a bit of paper somewhere in here that says I'm a golf biomechanics specialist. Problem with pro golfers who aren't full pros is they've got no money. So I used to do a lot of work for free, but they'd promise me games at the Australian and tickets to events and all sorts of shit. Still haven't been to an event. Still haven't played at the Australian, just quietly. Bloody just looking behind me, Terrell Hatton, like him, he's like a oh fuck, are we allowed to say dwarf? He's like an angry little dwarf. He gets along there. What aren't we allowed to say for little people? Okay. Don't say that too loud. He is, isn't he? He's short, he's wide, and he's angry. He's got that big square jaw. Love a bit of Terrell Hatton. He's good, and he's a fiery bastard too. He fires right up. Okay. Well, it's called dwarfism. He's not a dwarf, so it doesn't matter. But I've forgotten his name now, Chaz, on the internet in an invitational. Little Chaz, mate, he was the best golfer there. He was absolutely red hot. He hasn't got them big levers like some of us. Absolutely killed it. What about TGL random? Do you watch the TGL? I've got a simulator here. It's not a full-time setup one. I've got a Rapsodo launch monitor for anyone who's wondering where I get those clips from. I've got a Rapsodo MLM Pro 2 launch monitor. I've got a Spawnia net, which I think Divot's got one of those as well. And it streams to a TV I got out the back. I can't fit it inside. My roof in here is about 300 mil too low for it to be inside. Otherwise, I'd have the whole place decked out with the room. And it's good. I have a bit of fun, but it's nowhere near the real thing. Nothing like the real thing. And I don't even know if it's achieving what it wanted to achieve with getting new people into golf. The ratings apparently have dipped significantly this time around this season. And I've tried to watch. I don't think I've ever watched a full episode. I guess the vibe doesn't come through on the TV. So 2 years off the grog random. What made you give it up? Bad golf, I reckon. PGL is a live copy, teams event, as a Simpsons event. They can learn from Korea. What, Squid Games? What are they going to learn from Chris? Get a bit of golf Squid Games. You will make this putt or you will die as a sim event. Squid Games golf. We're on to something. It's basically what they did with Live. They said, here's 40 million won. And they put it in a box and they said, come and play and good luck. And you may die. And they've all been killed from the PGA Tour. Golf Squid Games. We're on to something there. I'll give you the credit for that idea, Random. You asked something before about an older guy trying to grow on social media, mate. I don't think it matters how old you are. In my other business, I get most of my work off of socials. So I think it's been consistent. I'm not spending any money on this, so I'm not. If I'm growing organically, I think we've got 31 subscribers on YouTube. We've got maybe 3 after today, 3 left. Yeah, I'm not blowing up anywhere. I'll just ticking along, mate, and I'm not going to spend any money on paying for followers or any of that crap. I see people open an account and the next day they got 20,000 followers. Well, they got 20,000 bots following them, and it's probably cost them 20 grand. So I'm not into that. I think you just got to have. I think you just got to have something of value. And don't ask me what something of value is, because like I said, I do a serious post about mental health and get nothing. And I do a joke post about sharks the other day. Well, not a joke post. Everyone really should get out of the water. There's way too many sharks at the moment. I do a joke post about sharks and it's got 6,000 likes in literally half an hour. That thing went viral straight away. So I don't know what the value is. You're trying to sell a product, mate. So make sure the product's good first. The rest will take care of itself. I'll get I will give a shout out. We're not sponsored yet, but we will be. DBG Gloves. They started following me around Facebook. And then I eventually caved one night and bought some. 1, they're bloody good golf gloves. 2, they're half the price of the tour gloves. And 3, best customer service I've ever had in my life. Best customer service I've ever seen in my life. There was a slight problem with the gloves I ordered. They were a tiny bit too small. I didn't even complain. Someone else asked on Facebook about the gloves and I gave very honest feedback. Great glove, get a size up because the large was a little bit small. The comment had only been up for about 30 seconds. I had an email from the company apologising and offering to send me next size up as long as I returned the ones I hadn't used, which I did. But immediate communication immediately solved the problem. And then poor bugger, he accidentally made a mistake and sent me 2 lots of new gloves. So when I went back to him and said, mate, you buggered up here and you got a couple of extras, I'll buy them off you. He said, no, you're not going to pay for my mistake, and gave me the extras for free as well. And they're frigging good gloves. I only bought 3 of them and they're still going. And that was a couple of months ago. So you got to, I think he and that company, I don't know their full story. I think he's a pretty small operator, but he's putting a lot of work into social media, but he's got a product that people want. And I've already seen unadulterated, one of my mates must have bought some. He gave him a shout out on Insta the other day for the same thing. So I think, you got to work out who your audience, what audience you want, and then you got to work out whether what you're doing on socials is going to attract that audience. I want for this, I want people who are interested in sport. The sober thing's an aside, right? One of my dreams, I wish I'd continued in sport in some way so I could have a job in the media, or how good would just commentating on sport for a living be? Absolute dream job. So I'm only putting stuff out there hoping people are interested in sports. I don't care how big the following gets or how small the following gets. I'm having fun doing it. It is keeping me off the drink. It's giving me something to do. And if you provide value for people, they'll keep coming back. So I hope that helps. Research the effects of alcohol, and that made you cut down. I want to give it up completely. However, it's so ingrained in culture. Yeah, well, you just got to have a reason to give it up completely. Random. The effects are still there. So the same reason you cut back, that doesn't change. And if you really want to give it up completely, just do it. If you don't want to, don't. That's the other thing. You just got to, you don't have to do it. But if you're saying you want to give it up, give it up. All right. I had a very valid, I had something I was going to say before, but I've forgotten what it is now. All right, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. Not bad for a first one. We'll be a bit better organised next week. We're going to keep this happening every Sunday, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And really enjoyed the comments. Thanks, Random. Thanks. Who did we have? We had Random. We had Divot Dad. Follow their socials, guys. And if you're into golf, Random Gorilla's your guy for your gear. EventX, thank you. James, thanks for chiming in. If you got any, guys, reach out to me on socials. Give me any tips. This didn't quite flow as seamlessly as I thought it might. I can talk. I can talk about anything for hours, but we might need to be a little bit better planned. Swing long, swing hard. Don't lose too many golf balls, and I'll talk to you all next week. Enjoy.